Man, there was everybody on Etnies.
We had a lot of different skaters coming on board, and sometimes staying for a long time, like Ryan Sheckler, for example. He's been there for over 16 years, pretty much. But sometimes, they come and go. Skateboarding is something you're always free, so it's a natural way of skateboarding. I think it's a little bit like a river, skateboarding goes through the rocks, and the riders, same thing, they maybe go one way or a different direction. I think for us, the most important thing is to make sure we support them all the time and as much as we can.
It's been a period of 17 years that I've been on one team, and like some of these trips blur into each other because I was so young, and so you kind of don't really remember who was on your trips. And it's like, Fabrizio Santos was on a bunch of trips, and Carlos de Andrade, like those were the dudes that I wanted to skate with, and they were on the team with me, Who else, man? Dude, everybody's been on. I can't even really remember.
It's crazy to think like Tom Penny, Ronnie Krieger,
Lincoln Ueda, Charlie Wilkins, myself. All the riders were like super gnarly. At Alyssa, and then when I was getting on, it was like the team was amazing too. A lot of my favorite skaters like Divine and
Mikey Taylor, Sean Malto, Tyler Bledsoe.
A lot of flip riders rode for Etnies for a period, and Arto Sari was kind of the team captain almost, so that's how he basically put a lot of the flip guys on the team. But Bastian, there's always been a lot of heavy hitters. Stefan Janowski rode for Etnies back then, Jason Dill. When you start thinking about all the riders who have been through these doors, it's quite an eclectic spectrum of skateboarding. There's a little bit of something for everyone.
It's funny because I remember there was a shop up in Canada we used to sell to. I always remember him going, it's crazy, these shoes are selling like crazy. But the crazy thing is, we've got people that don't skate buying them. And it was just like this big thing, like, holy shit, like people that don't skate are buying your shoes. And it was just this weirdness of like, oh, that kind of sucks, but I don't know, like, what, I guess it's cool, like, it's bringing in money, like, rad, like, hell yeah. But it was just that weird, and you kind of felt that, okay, there's a lot more behind what we're doing than kind of where we are as far as the reach outside. Like a skateboard, you only sell to a skateboarder. You have shoes, apparel, whatever, it can reach more into people that aspire to that look of a skateboarder.
It was very weird for me to start seeing people wearing our Etnies in the street that were not skateboarders. Because all along, it's always been about making a good quality shoes, that absorb impact, have a good board feel. And suddenly, I started seeing people that doesn't look like skateboarders wearing the shoes. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. Because I never imagined other people will do that. But it also opened my horizon, understanding that people want a good looking shoe, in general. They might not necessarily skate with, but that's actually great if we can embrace the people that like those shoes, and we can give more to skateboarding. Do more events, sponsor more riders, pay them more, doing all these type of things. So I say, rock on, come on board, help us build skateboarding.
Etnies was early in sponsoring other sports, like DC had all these other teams eventually, and Vans has other teams, Nike even, everybody has other teams outside of skateboarding, and Etnies, I think, might have been one of the first to branch out to other sports like that, other action sports. So I think it was definitely a little bit confusing, because on the one hand it was such a legit skate brand, because everyone is from skateboarding and everyone knows them, and especially back then I think skateboarding was very much more like insulated, so to include other sports, bike riding, motocross, all that stuff, maybe not the coolest thing, but it was fun to do.
So something that was interesting for Etnies is that, so the energy was growing, and Jeremy Ray came in, and Jeremy was like, hey, I got this, my friend, he rides BMX, like, can you hook him up? So we gave Mike Escamilla the shoes, and then he started this whole like BMXing. All the BMXers started looking at Mike Escamilla going, holy shit, I wanted to be part of Etnies. And then, you know, we'd go surf on weekends or whatever, and it'd be like suddenly before you know it, like all the surfers like, hey, I want shoes. And then snowboarding, like Jeff Brushy and all these guys, you know, the local guys, snowboarders, they're all skateboarders, and then they're just like, I want shoes. So we started kind of giving out shoes organically to like just our friends. But then it kind of created these categories of action sports. Etnies just went crazy. But it was just an interesting point because it kind of made it a little weirder for the skate side of things because suddenly Etnies was more than just skateboarding.
As we were developing Etnies, you know, we start seeing, you know, people coming outside skateboarding, wanting to get our support. The culture is important to be supported, you know, because the same thing, it's the same idea of riding and having a good time and pushing the limit of what's possible. So we start like, you know, sponsoring other people.
The thing I really like about Pierre is that from the very beginning, he's always, I mean, his passion is always based on skateboarding, and he's always wanted to give back. So it would enable us to do these great events, like the European Championships. For years, we put in so much money into like bringing all the European skaters together in Basel, Switzerland. It was really cool. And then it also helped put money into the riders' pockets. The Soltec brands specifically were the first to pay skateboarders the most money in skateboarding. So it helped raise the bar of like what everyone else had to do to play in this game. So then you start realizing, you know, it's okay. So yeah, maybe it's not a skateboarder buying it, but we can put that money back into skateboarding. And I think that was the most important thing for us. A key learning for me within this is you've got to be really careful sometimes, because sometimes when you go into these other categories, you go these other directions, it can take you in some areas that you don't always want to go, taking us away from the core values of the skate side of things. And that's probably the road, you know, you go through is that you go on these roads and you go into different areas and you always come back to what's truly who you are and what your values truly represent and your beliefs. And that's skateboarding.
I don't fault Pierre at all for trying to do that because he was right. Everything does stem through skateboarding, and you know, he tried it. It worked, but just back to skateboarding.
And what I think for Etnies is very important is that we are built by skateboarding. And it's the same thing when it comes to surfing or BMX or snowboarding, you know. A lot of those activities are inspired by skateboarding, and they are built by skateboarding.